So, good evening everyone. My name is Nur'Aiman bin Taslim Gali. I'm a third year dietetics student.
My name is Muhammad Anif Ikhwan bin Ahmad Zapwan. I am third year dietetics student.
So, this is our first video project or video assignment on physical activity subjects for this semester. So, our topic that both of us have chosen is the effect of physical activity on the
Elderly performance.
in Malaysia. Alright, before we proceed to our points, first I would like to define the meanings of elderly. According to WHO or World Health Organization on 2014, elderly is meant by people whom age 60 years and above, while according to Karim on a study on 1997, elderly is meant by someone whom age more than 60 years or older. So from these two study, we could see that anybody whom age more than 60 years could be defined as an elderly. The statistical analysis on Malaysia on the number of elderly in Malaysia is by study from Fauzi on 2000. At the present now, Malaysian have around 1.4 million of elderly, which might increase up to 3.3 million on 2020. So basically, that's our introduction on meaning on elderly and the number of elderly population in Malaysia. So how about you, Hanif?
So Aiman has said about what is elderly. So I will explain to you about the physical activity and the recommendation by WHO for exercise for people aged 65 years old and above, which is in the context of elderly. So here he said that elderly need at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity or at least 70 minutes of vigorous activity. And then he said that aerobic activity should be performed in about of at least 10 minute duration. So in order to get additional health benefit, we should add about 300 minutes of moderate intensity or 150 minutes of vigorous activity. And for the people that unable to do that physical activity, unable to do moderate or vigorous activity, he should be balanced. He should do a balanced exercise to prevent fall on 3 or more days. So basically, for other people, there is no limitation or what we call that challenge on doing physical activity. Just do whatever he can do. So Aiman, can we proceed on the article that we have read about effect of physical activity to elderly?
Alright, here I would like to present on two different studies on 2013 and 2017. First, the title study of effect of physical activity on health status in older adults, which is an intervention study that conducted by David Bacha et al. On 2013. The study is about physical activity which could increase the muscle strength of an elderly, because the yearly study of low and moderate intensity or moderate intensity resistance or any activity with low moderate intensity will help in increase the strength of the muscle. Besides, in that study also, they show that vigorous exercise that will produce far greater gain of muscle strength, which is about 100 to 200% of increase in muscle strength in a 3 months of training. So from this study, we could see that physical activity is not only increase the performance of elderly, but also could strengthen their muscle. Although even though that we know that muscle strength will decrease as our age is increased. Second is study that conducted by Shirley, Sean and Kevin on 2017 on the frequency and health benefit of physical activity for older adults. This study showed that physical activity will reduce the physical and mental condition such as diabetes and dementia. Several studies have shown that physical activity is really could reduce the risk of diabetes, because as we know that when we are physically active, the chance of getting obesity is lower. Then because obesity is one of the factors that could lead to diabetes, so from there we could relate that from physical activity we could lower the chance of getting obesity. Then from obesity we could lower the risk of having diabetes.
So I think I want to add some point on your point,
Alright.
which is about low and moderate intensity activity. So what is low and moderate intensity activity? It is basically the activity that we usually do in our daily routine. It's like for elderly, walking, do some household activity. It is we call low and moderate activity. So for the vigorous activity, it is activity that we need higher energy, and it can relate to the higher heartbeat and more rapid breathing. So for my point is the next study by Dennis Taylor, which is entitled "Physical Activity is Medicine for the Adult." It said that physical activity can reduce mortality rate. So based on this study, the key finding is higher level of physical activity were associated with around 40% to 50% lower all-cause cardiovascular disease and cancer mortality. So based on this study, he focused on the physical activity can improve or can reduce the risk of older people to get cancer or cardiovascular disease, as we know that the prevalence of cancer and cardiovascular disease are higher in older adult for now. So and then for the next study is physical activity in older adult perspective for healthy aging and fertility by Jamie, David, Dean, James, Neil and Hans, 2016. So it said that in this study, PA or physical activity can improve nervous system and can reduce the risk of osteoporosis. So what is osteoporosis? Is about the structure of bone being more fragile, right?
Yeah.
It is a common disease among older adult. So in this study, that the key finding is in the nervous system, regular exercise help to maintain cognitive function, controlling leg muscle and can improve balance. So it is related to older adult, which is for older adult, they usually have weak muscle and always have problem with their nervous system. So physical activity can improve a lot in nervous system. So the last point is people who exercise regularly that include higher impact are less likely to suffer a bone fracture, which is related to osteoporosis. So in the conclusion for my point is physical activity can reduce mortality rate, can improve nervous system and can reduce the risk of osteoporosis.
I guess that is all from us on the effect of physical activity on the performance of the elderly in Malaysia. So basically, in Malaysia there is no reason for elderly population to not involve in any physical activity, because physical activity could be divided into various ways and the various stages, either light, moderate or vigorous intensity. So that's all from us. Thank you.